Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of This is Learning. Today we're going to be exploring Google Cloud with Guillaume. But before we get into that, I have a couple of co-panelists today. Usually it's just me, maybe another one. So it's nice to see there's a whole group of us today. So we have Vijay and Deep, who are both also involved in This is Learning, scheduling, finding speakers, and all that kind of stuff. So thank you, both of you, for organizing all this. I just get to show up and have fun and talk to people on the day of, so I appreciate it. How are you guys doing today?
Great. How are you guys?
Good. Okay, Guillaume, who are you? What do you do? What are we talking about today?
Yeah. I'm Guillaume Blaquiere. I'm Google developer expert on Google Cloud. And I'm also a data architect at Carrefour. Carrefour, it's a large retail company in France, something similar as Walmart in the United States, but in France and in other countries in the world.
Cool. Okay. How long have you been at GDE for?
I've been graduated at GDE in 2019,
Nice.
just before the COVID crisis, and I never had the chance to travel because I know GDE and I stay at home and I perform only remote speaking and events and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But now it starts to change and it's better now.
It's nice. Yeah. I got mine probably 6 or 7 months ago. So I haven't been able to do much as a GDE other than, virtual stuff like this. So I'm really excited to get back to in person and meet everybody that I meet on here.
Yes, and everybody is also happy to meet in person other people, and everybody is for now enjoy to go to the event and to meet in person now.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so for we have a wide range of watchers, people that come and listen to the different sessions we have and stuff like that. Some may or may not know what cloud computing is. That might be a crazy idea for someone to not know, but I guarantee someone out there doesn't. So what is GCP and what services does it offer?
Yeah. In fact, for many people, and if you ask your friends, your family and so on, for most of the people, cloud is the place where you store your picture, your photo, your videos and stuff like that. And yes, that is cloud, but it's not only that. In fact, cloud is a place, it's a data centers hosted by Google Cloud, hosted by AWS, hosted by Microsoft Azure, hosted by providers that host servers. And on server, you put what you want. You have CPUs, you have memory, you have disk, and you put what you want. That's the basics of any cloud provider or any provider that offer computing power, in fact. And the real value of the cloud is the services that offer the cloud provider. They offer strong internet connectivity. They offer managed services. They offer database services, file storage services, of course. So a lot of services that you can use, and you architect your application, your cloud native application, according to all these building blocks. You plug the blocks together and you build something scalable in your country, in your region, in the world. You can deploy that everywhere very easily.
Yeah. Deep, do you have a question?
Yeah. So can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I was surfing this GCP things, and so I found there are multiple tiers. So can you please elaborate tiers availability in GCP?
Yeah. There's several tiers, but I don't know which tier do you speak about. Network, about
premium models, like for the students or professionals or corporate.
Like the free tiers, like what GCP offer for people to learn, start up, figure out.
Yeah, in fact, with Google Cloud, you have a free tier to use products I think you have more than 20 products free for use when you want to try. Always, of course, you have a small quota, small or not. You have, I think, 5 gigabytes of storage for free. You can invoke Cloud Run or Cloud Function for many hours per month. So you have a lot of things that you can try for free on Google Cloud. You need an account according of what you want to do. In fact, with BigQuery, it's a database analytics database. You can perform analytics on BigQuery, and for free, you have a sandbox that you can use without a credit card. For the other services, you need a credit card to create your account and to use the free tier as usual, but you need a credit card.
Mhm.
I mentioned that because I know some people, for example, in Africa, and they have difficulties to have a bank account and a credit card, and sometimes it's difficult for them to test Google Cloud. But BigQuery, you can. For the other products, you need a free tier.
Nice.
In addition, when you create your account for the first time, you have a budget of $300 that you can use to test anything. And when your budget is not exhausted, you can try for free all the products.
Yeah, that's awesome. Free tiers are so good for people that, just want to learn themselves or want to try something out for their company or, working on a side project. Some side projects can just operate within free tiers. It's amazing.
Yeah, and another thing, because I didn't mention that just before, and I think it's very important to keep that in mind. When you are in the cloud, you rent the resources for a time. That means if you want to test one VM for 1 hour, you will pay it, or you have your budget, your free tier for 1 hour, and that's all. Then you release your VM and you stop to pay because you don't use it.
Yeah, it makes it very easy to stop, start, try little things for little chunks of time. You can make the $300 go a really long way for GCP. So
yeah, just for you, it's very easy to test, but also for the company, when you want to test, I don't know, a workload with 300 VMs, you don't have to pay and to buy the VMs to test something and then to don't know what to do with your servers. You can do that in the cloud, test. If it doesn't work, you delete your cluster and it's free.
Yep, exactly. So why would someone choose GCP over Google Cloud Platform over something like Microsoft Azure or Amazon Web Services, AWS? Give me the value prop.
Yeah, it's a good question and it's difficult to answer because I'm a fan of Google Cloud, and of course it's difficult to be honest. But at the beginning, in fact, I wasn't a Google fan, and I had to make a choice. And in my previous company, I had the chance to test the three. And Microsoft, in fact, it wasn't the right time in 2017 because they switched from a previous UI to a new UI, and some things worked in the previous one and not in the new one. So it wasn't a good time for Microsoft. And personally, I never liked Microsoft for their licensing mode and so on. So it's Microsoft Azure. Then I had the choice between AWS and GCP, and I got an account from a company, an account paid by a company, and I tried the both in 2017. And at the end, I found AWS more system admin and network admin oriented. Personally, I'm a developer. I started as a developer in 2007 as a Java developer. And Google Cloud is more developer-oriented. It's easier for the developer. I have always this example for the people to say, try to start a VM with Google Cloud and try to start a VM with AWS. We'll see in 2 minutes you have your VM. In 20 minutes you continue to follow a tutorial to grant the correct permission to do something on AWS.
Yeah.
It's two different worlds, And because I had the choice, I went to the easiest for me, and I went to Google Cloud like that. And today, when I have an overview of the competitors, in fact, I found Google Cloud more innovative. I found AWS is very, very efficient to integrate external solution or open source products. The integration is very strong and very scalable, and the platform is good and very nice. But there is no new product. BigQuery has no equivalence. Cloud has no equivalence. Spanner has no equivalence. All the new products created by Google Cloud has no real equivalence on the markets because it's the proprietary of Google. And even GKE, the Google Kubernetes engine, Kubernetes has been open sourced by Google Cloud, and today it's the baseline for many applications, and it has been released by Google Cloud. I think the mindset of Google Cloud and the innovation, the development is very strong.
Nice. Jay, do you have a question?
So now it's all serverless, right? Like everywhere we go, it's all about serverless. So we have S3 CloudFront, we have Azure static websites, and what's the equivalent in Google Cloud?
Sorry, I didn't catch your question about serverless.
What are the serverless offerings in Google Cloud? Like, AWS is Lambda, CloudFront, Edge, stuff like that. Azure has static site pages or something. Yeah.
Okay. In fact, in Google Cloud, you have a lot of serverless product, and personally, as I said, I'm not a system admin, and I love serverless product because I don't have to manage the servers. That's why I love that. In fact, you have different families, categories of serverless product. You have serverless product like AWS Lambda to host your code, to perform processing. And for that, you have Cloud Functions that you host function like AWS Lambda. You have App Engine. App Engine is a product, very old product. It has been released in 2008, so a very, very old product, in fact, and is more oriented to host your websites. You have microservices, one for your front end and other services for your backends. So it's a very web hosting oriented. And the new one, it has been released 3 years ago. It's Cloud, where you deploy your containers and you run your containers in serverless mode. But that's it only for the computing. Then you have also other serverless products. I mentioned just before BigQuery. It's a data warehouse designed for analytics and to process petabytes of data. It's also in serverless. You have PubSub. It's a message queue product to publish and subscribe to messages. It's also in serverless. You have managed databases with Cloud SQL, which hosts MySQL, PostgreSQL, or Microsoft SQL Server database, also in serverless. So you have a lot of serverless products, in fact, where you are only a user. You set up the service and you use it like that. You have nothing to manage, nothing to update, nothing to patch. Nothing to monitor. In fact, if the service goes down, it's not you to restart the service. It's managed by Google Cloud. And it's a game changer, in fact, for the company, because you don't have to spend money, resources, employees to monitor your application, your infrastructure. You only have to use the infrastructure and to take time on where the value is in your job, in your business, and not to manage servers, because servers has no value for your end users.
Totally. So that's a good segue for value that we can provide to our end users. Nowadays notifications, push notifications, stuff like that is so huge for engagement on software, all that kind of stuff. So what kind of notification offerings does GCP have? Like, I know what AWS has because I use it. I don't know what Azure has. We use Firebase, so I've used FCM, Firebase Cloud Messaging before. But what does GCP offer in terms of notifications, push notifications, any kinds of systems like that?
Surprisingly, nothing. Nothing. Yeah, there is no push notification on Google Cloud. You can use indeed Firebase to do that, but it's really mobile oriented. But even to send an email with Google Cloud is difficult. It's difficult. You have no services to send an email. It's strange because you have a Gmail hosted by Google, and I'm sure Google know very well the email, but Google doesn't offer this kind of services, and you need to use a third party like Twilio or SendGrid or provider like that to send email. You have a hack that you can use with App Engine. You have an email library on App Engine, but you can't choose your host, your senders. You can change the senders, and your email are great for internal, but not to send to end users and to. Yeah, it's not very professional. Yeah, there is no really solution. You can interact with other products, but no built-in solution on Google Cloud for notification.
Okay.
Sure. So, I have another question. This is regarding the identity management, like AWS has Cognito, which provides the user management and like emails and other stuff like validation, multi-factor authentication, and things like that. So, is there anything that Google provides in a similar way?
Yeah, in fact, Google Cloud, you have two types of authentication on Google Cloud. You have your Google accounts. It could be a Gmail account. It could be a Google Workspace account. It could be a Google Play account. In fact, if you have a Google account, you can interact with Google Cloud in general. But sometimes your users have no Google account, and you need to register them, or you have an application, you have to register your users, whatever their email or their account. And you can use, I forgot the name. Excuse me, I totally forgot the name, but you have something based on Google authentication, on Firebase authentication.
Is it cloud identity?
Yes, exactly. It's a Google Cloud identity. Thank you very much.
I've Googled Google GCP identity.
Yeah. In fact, it's a Google Cloud identity. In fact, it's a new version of Firebase authentication, and Firebase authentication is only focused on a Firebase ecosystem. Here, it's an extension, and you use the same libraries for your front end in JavaScript, and you can manage your users on Google Cloud with Google Cloud identity like that. You have a lot of features. You can enforce the two-factor authentication. You can recover your password by SMS. You can register. You have a lot of features, and yeah, I think it's a good solution for when you don't want to be too sticky to Google Cloud and to manage your users on your application.
Cool. Sweet. I didn't know that existed. We use Firebase at my company, so like I'm pretty used to Firebase authentication and stuff like that. I assumed GCP had something, but again, I go into GCP when I need to turn an API on, essentially.
Yeah, I have often the question, what's the difference between Firebase and GCP? And in fact, more and more, there is no difference. In fact, Firebase is only a wrapper of API call to Google Cloud. It's an easiest way to perform things, but at the end, you have the same services hosted on Google Cloud because it's easiest for Google Cloud, and it doesn't make sense to have two different platforms. When you have a Firebase function is a cloud function, except that with Firebase you can only develop with Node.js. You can't use Python, Go, Java to develop your cloud function. It's different, but at the end, it's land on the same backend.
Yeah, ever since Google acquired Firebase, like back in 2012, 2011, 2012, something like that. I think I could be way off, but they've been like bringing them closer and closer together ever since then.
Yes, it takes time, but now it's very close.
Yeah, Firebase is a great platform. Like it's so easy to get started with. So easy. I know now there's like open source alternatives. I think we talked about them one time on the show, Super Tokens, but otherwise, like it's just so easy to get started with, and it provides so much functionality. And it's backed by GCP, right? Like you get the stability of Google's ecosystem, which is huge.
Yeah, exactly. And again, with Firebase or with GCP, you have always Google. Google is developer-oriented, developer-centric, and it's very easy for developer to jump in the technology and to use it. And yes, when you are a developer, it's wonderful.
It's so true. Like AWS, like I never really thought about it like that before. But when you said, AWS is more tailored towards, system admins and stuff like that, I can definitely see where you're coming from there, because it's so complicated in some areas, and it just doesn't seem like it needs to be. It seems like GCP took those learnings and were like, okay, well, developers are going to be the ones using this, so let's tailor it to developers so it's easier to use.
Yeah, but sometimes it's disturbing also for the system admin, because in my previous company, we switched from our legacy data center to the cloud. And with Google Cloud, the system admin wasn't so comfortable because their habits totally changed on Google Cloud. And they also tried AWS, and they preferred AWS because it was like a data center. It was like their data centers out elsewhere, but it was the same thing with Google Cloud. It was disruptive and not so comfortable.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes there is some benefits, and maybe, and I'm sure Google made the right choice, but it's difficult for some users to change.
Totally. Yeah. Some users are just, used to being able to like configure every little tiny thing all the time from start to finish, right? And developers that are just starting or, trying a new technology out for a project, they just want it to work, right? They're not micro optimizing at the start.
At least to test, you want something to work, and then you will optimize, you will secure, you will do that. Of course, maybe when you start a VM with Google Cloud, it's not secure because you have the port 22 or the port 80 open publicly on the internet, and your VM has the public IPs, and you can reach it as you want. Yes, okay, it's not secure, but it's easy to use for anybody, and then you can build on this base and to secure it and to do something better.
Yeah, that being said, like I'm sure you can get the level of customization in Google Cloud that you need, like that really, really high level. It's just not exposed right at the start because it's overwhelming and confusing for new users.
Yeah, but I'm sure Google Cloud is less customizable than AWS, because AWS is more powerful, listens their customer for a longer period of time. Yeah, I'm sure AWS is better on some part, and that's why also there are the number one on the market. There is no doubt. But I'm sure the future is not on the IaaS, on the infrastructure part, is on the serverless part, and that's why I'm sure the future is more. It will be better for Google Cloud than for the others.
That makes sense. Yeah. Do you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question. So, like, in AWS, we have static hosting is available.
Oh.
Right. Sorry.
No worries.
So.
Just wait them out.
Yep. Sorry. It's okay. Yep. So in AWS, we have S3, and it provides a static hosting for the website, right? So is there any similar functionality available in GCP?
Something similar than S3? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You have a service named Google Cloud Storage, and it's very, very similar of S3. And many API of Google Cloud Storage or the authentication mechanism is the same as S3, and it's very easy to switch from one to the other one. For me, it's a good services, and I think it's the service that we'll use the most with BigQuery. In fact, you see, if you go to Google Cloud, you will use two services, Cloud Storage and BigQuery. BigQuery, because it's very easy to perform a query across a petabyte of data, and it's wonderful for anyone that have a lot of data. And Cloud Storage, why? Because when you want to go from the outside to Google Cloud or from Google Cloud to the outside, you take your files, you put them on Cloud Storage, and you import the file in Google Cloud, in BigQuery, in other database, or whatever you want. And if you have data on Google Cloud and you want to export the data, you create file on Cloud Storage, and then from Cloud Storage, you put them everywhere outside. In fact, it's a proxy product that allow you to go in or go out very easily.
Nice. Man, I gotta say, Google Cloud's naming for their services is so much simpler. Like,
it's explicit.
Storage, identity is authentication. I'm sure the database one's called database.
Yeah, it's a Cloud SQL. But Cloud SQL, you have SQL in it, and you can, yeah. In fact, it's explicit, and you can understand what it is. Cloud identity, we will work with identity. With AWS Cognitio, okay, you have to go to the documentation to understand. S3, same thing. It's not very clear. Compute Engine, yes, Compute Engine. It's a VM. EC2 on AWS, yes, it's not very clear also. So yeah, that's why you have. It's also for that I prefer the Google Cloud, because when you have to use something, you know what to use because it's explicit, and obvious.
Yeah,
you have a cloud
by reading the name.
Yeah, you have Cloud Build to build your application. So you have a lot of examples like that. It's very easy.
Awesome. Well, I think that's all the questions I had for you. Is there anything that you wanted to shout out, share before we end the show? Do you have a blog or something?
Oh, yeah. If you want, you can Google me and you find some articles. Or I'm also very active on Stack Overflow. If you have questions on Stack Overflow, you have many chances that I will answer you on Google Cloud. What I would like to share with you just at the end is take the time to try. You can try Google Cloud for free. Create an account, try it, play with it. Personally, I like to play with the cloud, and it's my job, and I'm playing at my job. I love my job because of that. So take the time to test it. It's not so difficult. It's very modern, but in fact, it's only IT computing. You have to understand the concept, but yes, test it. It works.
Great. Well, thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for distilling your GCP knowledge to all of us and our listeners, or watchers, or whatever you want to call them. Attendees.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much to be here, and it was a pleasure for me to talk about my cloud.
Awesome. Thanks, Deep. Thanks, Vijay, for coming to the panel today and not leaving me all by myself.
Yeah. Thanks, Jay. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye, everyone. Thanks.
Bye.
See you next time.